Hi, Student Success. Welcome to your week 1 assignment video. So inside your course, I also encourage you to, if you haven't, or maybe even to revisit your welcome video, because this really does walk you through kind of navigation of the course and different expectations. So it could be helpful to you if you're not super sure where to get started. I also just want to remind you the Student Lounge and Muddy Point forums are open all semester long, and I talk about that in the welcome video there, but you are welcome to post there at any time. But as a reminder, neither of those count for attendance or assignment purposes. So if you post in there, please don't think that you're getting attendance points for that, because those are not mandatory. Those are just there for your convenience to chat with other classmates or to ask questions that anyone can answer. All right, underneath there, as I said, you're probably going to spend less and less time in that Start Here section. I want to also point out that your textbook link is in here, textbook access, and then your syllabus quiz. So before you can even complete your week 1 assignments, before you can even view your folder for week 1 work, you have to take and complete your syllabus quiz. So you'll come here and it is going to be a series of questions. So I'll hit launch quiz, and when I get in there, it's going to tell me, hey, you have to get 100% to open the week. So I'll hit start quiz. Here we go. There we go. And it's going to be a series of just true or false. So honestly, it's hopefully pretty straightforward. But you are certainly welcome to still have your syllabus up, in a tab next to you or print it off next to you so that you can reference it if needed. So if you are wondering why you can't get into week 1, it's probably because you have not taken your required syllabus quiz or your online orientation. So that is the first thing you want to make sure you complete. Underneath there are your week 1 videos. So there's the chapter 1 lecture videos. That's going to cover the content for chapter 1 specifically. So if you prefer, if you're an auditory learner, you want to sit and listen to it, you can do that. You can also go into the week 1 materials folder and you can use the textbook link itself or the slides. So my big thing is just interact with the content somehow, whether it's through the slideshow, the PowerPoint, the video, just some kind of interaction with the text, especially so you have a point of reference for your assignments. Underneath there is going to be the video I'm recording right now. You can see last fall's video is uploaded in there. I'm going to replace it with the one that I'm going to put in there after I'm done recording. And then you have a Dropbox video because you do have an assignment this week that you have to submit as an attachment potentially. So I wanted to make sure that you were comfortable with how to Dropbox that. This is from earlier this year. I just plugged that in there as a reference. All right. So week 1, every week is going to look the same in terms of this kind of page. It's going to say, hey, this is what you're doing this week, what you're reviewing, what you're completing. So this week you have 3 assignments. One of them is your discussion board, and then you have 2 other assignments. Your discussion board is due by Wednesday for week 1 attendance. So every week when you have a discussion forum post, you have to post by Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. to get 100% attendance for the week. And then you go back in and you respond to 2 classmates by Sunday. So you get graded on your post basically 2 times. The first time you get graded for, did you post on time for attendance purposes? Did you post by Wednesday night? And then the second grade you get is, did you respond to the prompt? Because maybe you posted, but you didn't answer all the questions. So you got your attendance points, but you're only getting like half points because you didn't do all the work. So this is where I say, even if you miss the attendance post, let's say you wake up Friday morning, you're like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot to submit my attendance. You can still submit it and get partial attendance, but then you still have the potential to get full points for the actual work you do in the forum. And then you go back in and respond to 2 classmates and then take your Title IX and Handshake assignments by Sunday. So let's walk through how to complete these. So I'm going to leave the materials alone for now. I'm going to come back to it for one thing, but here's my chapter 1. So anytime you have a discussion board, you're going to hit go to discussion. It's going to take you to the discussion you're working on. And there's a little reminder saying, hey, you got to post by Wednesday and then respond to 2 classmates by Sunday. There are 2 parts to this forum. Part 1, introduce yourself and talk about your major or certification. So this is where you could say like, hey, I'm Linda. I am going to school for education. Nice to meet you. So especially if you go by a different name than maybe what's displayed, because sometimes you have a nickname or whatever the case is, this is a chance for you to say, hey, I'm Linda, but I go by Lynn or whatever. And then part 2, you select 4 of the 9 topics listed below. So you scroll through, you can see there are 9 topics. You only have to pick 4. I don't know what those random zeros are doing. Oh, that's for me over there. There it goes. Like, wait, that's odd. So you're going to pick 4 of the 9. I don't care if you do the first 4, the last 4, the evens, or just pick the ones that you're like, I have a lot to say about this. It's kind of like a fill in the blank. So I'm just going to use like transitioning to college. The most likely problems I'll have as a traditional or returning student transitioning to college are, maybe I'm like, you know what, time management. Here's what I'll do to stay focused in my first year. I'm going to start using a planner. So that's all it is. You're basically kind of just filling in the blank. And so to make it easy on myself, I might actually just highlight, copy, and when I go to actually post, make sure like there's a little bit of information down here too to help me. When I go to actually post, I'm going to click on the name of the forum. It repopulates the prompts so you don't have to like click back and forth for it or anything. And then I'm going to hit start a new thread. And there's one of them. Let's say I also want to complete, I don't know, 7, 8, 9. I'm just going to also, it just did something wonky there, but it's because I'm able to edit the class. It thinks I'm trying to edit something, so it put it in this box here. So let's just say I want to like copy and paste these last few as well. I know that's not quite all of them, but I could also just do, copy paste. And then I could start filling in, time management. Here's what I'll do to say here. I will use a planner. This does not have to be like entirely long responses or anything like that. So remember, there's 2 parts though. I just did a little bit of the second part. You are also doing part 1, introducing yourself. Once you have your part 1 and then all 4 of part 2 in there, you'll just simply hit post. Didn't put my subject. I'm just going to put week 1. Then I'll hit post, and there it is. When I scroll back down, I should see mine listed. There it is, week 1. So then when I go back in, let's say I do this on a Monday, no one else has really posted in there. I go back in on Wednesday to respond to 2 classmates. I click on the name of the thread and I hit reply to thread. And that's how I do my response. Okay. And then I would hit post. Something I want to discourage you from doing actually is writing your response in a Word document and uploading it. The reason I discourage that is because often students will not even open that to look at it. I've noticed that students are less likely to respond to a classmate if they have to also open a file to read it. So I do not encourage you uploading your response in a file. I encourage you to just type it. You can certainly get into Word and type it and then copy and paste it over. So just make sure that you are having that in there and you hit post. Your original response, again, as I said, is due on Wednesdays for weekly attendance, and then Sunday you want to respond to 2 classmates. So that is your discussion form for the week. Any weeks where you have discussion forms, it's always due by Wednesday for attendance. From there, you have a Title IX training and quiz. This is due Sunday, and this is an automatically graded assignment by Brightspace. What I mean by that is I do not go in here and grade this. Brightspace will enter the grade anywhere from like a half an hour to an hour after you complete it. It's not always automatic. So you want to go in there, and I encourage you for this one, under your materials folder, you have a Title IX slideshow. You can certainly go in there and download it and just have it kind of on the tab next to it if you like. You can print it off or whatever, whatever works for you. So Title IX, all students are required to take this. You're going to walk through.
This presentation.
Going to talk to you.
Title of what is Title IX?
And it's going to start getting to questions. And so this is where I am totally fine with you going back and forth, finding the answers, making sure you're familiar with it, going through the entire thing, making sure you submit the very last slide, and that's when Brightspace will enter your grade. That is due Sunday. The last thing you're doing is your handshake assignment. So you do have a student services assignment due that is going to be facilitated through Handshake, which is kind of why we have you do an assignment in week 1 to make sure that you create a Handshake account. If you're not sure how to do that, right above in the materials folder, there's a whole folder just on Handshake. There's a career services video because Handshake is housed in career services. This is about 1.5 years old. or so because the website looks different now, but it still has some good information in it. Here's the actual link to Handshake, so you can get into it from there. It should take you right there. Here's a step-by-step guide as to how to register for Handshake if you needed a little bit more info. And there's a video on it also. So lots of resources to help you with Handshake. But the first thing you're going to do for our assignment purposes is make sure that you create the account, because you have to get into Handshake to do this. Once you're inside Handshake, here's my account. I'm going to go to Jobs. And I am just going to go ahead and search Education. And I'm going to find a job that's loosely connected to my major. So if you're a CCP student or you're undecided, that's okay. You can just type in here what you're interested in, like a general field, like nursing, health, because you're going to get a ton of results. Now, obviously you would not do that like when you're really starting to be seriously looking for a job, because this is very similar to LinkedIn. Excuse me. And I do not expect you to have like a whole portfolio, a whole, account set up right now. You can keep it bare bones if you wish, because you're just starting out. You may not really be looking for a job quite yet. But for the purpose of our assignment, you're going to try to find a job within your general field. It can be an internship, a part-time job, full-time job. Doesn't matter. So let's say, just for sake of this, I'm going to say, oh, you know what? I want to substitute teach. This looks kind of nice. For our assignment, you can do one of two things. You can, it's going to tell you right here, option 1 or option 2. Option 1 is you are going to copy and paste the link for the job that you found. On your screen, when you scroll down here a little bit more, you will have the ability to either submit like a text submission, or you will be able to upload like a file submission. So you can go in here and be like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and copy my link. I can see it's copied, and I'm going to copy and paste it into my text submission box, which you would see on your screen down here. Or you are going to take a screenshot. I like to use the snipping tool. That's what I rely on most. And I would just take like a quick snip, and I would save that, and then I would upload that here in the Dropbox area. Either one is fine. Basically, it's just a way to ensure that you've created a Handshake account and you're in there, because you're going to need it for your workshop assignment later in the semester. If you're not sure how to Dropbox, I do have a very quick little video up here that walks you through, and it actually uses Handshake as the example to Dropbox. You won't have a huge amount of Dropbox information throughout the semester, but you will have some assignments that you'll have to upload. Okay, so that's the Handshake assignment. So as a recap, because that's it, you have the discussion forum. You need to post your original response in that discussion forum. Just remember, there are 2 parts: the introduce yourself, and then choose the 4 of the 9 topics to respond to, and then go back and respond to 2 classmates. Your original response by Wednesday, classmate responses by Sunday. Your Title IX training and quiz, and then your Handshake job assignment. Those are both due Sunday as well. So if you have any questions on any of these assignments, please feel free to reach out and let me know, and have a great first week of the semester.